Yeah, y'all just look. I need y'all's help, man. I'm telling you, I need your help, boy. There's some things going on that I just need some counsel, So don't y'all go nowhere. Let me get ready here, because I'm telling y'all, I need some help. For those of you who do not know, this is Elder Amoja Ajabu, your host for Ajabu Speaks. This program is dedicated to stripping the clothes off of well-dressed lies. And there is a bunch of well-dressed lies running around here. But I can tell you about them because I am unbought, unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. This is where I want to go now. Y'all know I'm a skeptic and I look at things pretty critical, but I need for y'all to see if there's some dots that, if connected, represent a threat to me. And walk with me. We were in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we were there to push for the government of Mississippi to arrest Carolyn Bryant Dunham, who is the woman that fingered Emmett Till, who is the young 13-year-old child that was beat, mutilated, lynched, and murdered by Carolyn Bryant's husband, Roy Bryant, and his half-brother, Jay Miley. And because she lives there, we were trying to push the authority there to arrest her because there's an outstanding warrant on her on the part that she played in the kidnapping of Emmett Till. While we were there, on the way that we were there, they put out this threat that you see on the side there, that the Bowling Green Police Department has received a threat to the groups who intend on protesting in front of the Justice Center and the 1000 block of Shive Lane. An unknown person threatens to shoot protesters and anyone helping protesters. We are working diligently to determine the origin of the threat. This threat was put out in Bowling Green to our group, which I'm part, because we wanted some justice for Emmett Till. Now, that's one dot. Let's go to the next one. From there, I leave and I go to Memphis, Tennessee, because I'm representing the new Black Panther Party position on us being against the beating of Tyree Nichols by the Memphis Police Department. While there in Memphis, I handed out a document, actually a flyer that depicted Emmett Till and Tyree Nichols, and said that if we had addressed Emmett Till, then we wouldn't have had Tyree Nichols. While there was a press conference held by Reverend Sharpton, and he allowed questions, and I told him, Rev, we really appreciate. And first of all, I'm the national spokesman for the new Black Panther Party. We appreciate what you have been doing for our people when it comes time to us being beat down and killed by the police. And we really also appreciate what was happening with Ben Crump and how he's getting settlements for the people because of their loss. But I'm also shared that I am a decorated Vietnam veteran. I have won the second highest medal that they give a soldier in combat. And from that, my experiences teach me that if you want somebody to stop striking you, then you got to strike back. And we appreciate what you have done. We appreciate what you're doing. But it's not stopping it, and we want it to stop. And so, again, my Vietnam experience says that if you want to stop someone from striking you, then you have to strike back. And I asked Rev, I said, don't you think it's ready? Don't you think it's time? He chuckled. Well, I'm going to stick with the narrative up here, but I want you to understand and realize and observe that I did not stop you from saying what you said. Now, when he said that, I processed it and I said, what he's telling me, even though he could have just interrupted me, he didn't interrupt me because what I said, he wanted said, he agreed with what was being said, but he didn't want to say it. He was going to stick with the narrative that they was promoting there on the stage. The next day, go to Tyree Nichols' funeral, and I'm there, and also Kamala Harris is there. The New Black Panther Party, including myself, are handing out flyers, and the Secret Service got at least one. Now, I said, okay, leave there. Memphis, Tennessee, that's another dot, okay? Go to Columbus, Ohio, and while I was in Memphis, I spoke to a standing room only crowd. They was just there at the museum, standing room only. And when I got through, they were very welcoming because I made the point that it did not make sense for me when I was in Vietnam to continue to fight for a country that was fighting me. In fact, there was a woman outside of the perimeter of Saigon, and she asked black soldiers, why are you over here in Vietnam fighting us when the very people that you're fighting for are fighting you? And understand, this was in 1969. A few months earlier, they had assassinated Martin Luther King, and then in 1965 assassinated Malcolm, and are admitting now that the government played a part, was responsible for both of those deaths. But I want to hone in on Malcolm because, not Malcolm, I want to hone in on Martin because the way that they killed him, it was when he spoke out on the Vietnam War in April the 4th, 1967, that they killed him April the 4th, 1968, to send the message that, look, ninja, don't get in our business in Vietnam. That ain't what you're supposed to be talking about. And if you talk about that, we'll kill you. And I talked to Andy Young, who was running around with King then, and he said it took them a while to understand that, but then they understood that the government was using symbolism to send the message to not only King by killing him, but to everybody else. Don't you speak out on the Vietnam War, because you can get the same thing that Martin got. That's another dot. So I go to Columbus. A 36-year-old white male has killed a 13-year-old male child of African descent by the name of Sensei Reed. We'll go there, and there's a big press conference, and at the press conference is held in the sheriff's office, and when we're there, there's just a big gaggle, numerous. Had to be 10 or 15 people up in there talking about that they was depressed. And so at that press conference, I made the same point to a brother that was part of the security for the prosecutor. We was in the foyer area with the press conference, but you could go deeper into the office and get back to the offices where the prosecutor actually has his office. And this brother was at the door to secure it, to protect it, to make sure that nobody unauthorized went past it. And it looked like he was a sheriff. He's in a brown uniform, but I told him, I said, what? And when I called him, he yeah, I'm talking to you, brother. How is it that you will protect a prosecutor who is protecting a white male who has killed an unarmed child, male of African descent, and that child could have been your son? It unnerved the brother. Just like he's seeing the body language that when are you talking to me? When I said that, he sent the body language. Damn, man, you done made a lot of sense. How am I doing that? It was the same aha moment that I got in Vietnam when Saigon Mary was asking us the question, black man, why are you over here fighting us for people who are fighting you back in America? Be good if you could just set the clock up there so I can see it. So I could see that my words had the same impact on brother, because it was, damn, that's my reality. Why am I doing that? What's wrong with you, man, that you would do something stupid like that? Quit it. And so he walked away from his post. He left the door unguarded. And I told him, I said, brother, come home. Come home. And I gave him the literature, and he reached over because he had left the gate and was going down the hall. He came back a bit toward me, and I went toward him, and I gave him the literature, and he nodded at me, as if to say, Elder, you done touched me. I hear you. And I done the same thing with a sister that was sitting behind the counter. I said, sis, come home. Take the literature. And she took the literature. That's the next dot. No, let me say a little bit more about that. Of all of those press people that were at that press conference, to this day, we can't find their story on what we said there at the prosecutor's office. All of that press and no stories. I'm seeing, and all of us is there. Wow. That means that was coordinated. Who done that? Understand that I started out in Bowling Green, got a threat, went to Memphis. The Secret Service got the information that we're distributing. Now I'm in Columbus and have a press conference with no coverage. This is where the crux is. I go home to Indianapolis. That Monday, I was in Columbus up until Saturday. That Monday, I get a call from the VA hospital telling me that, and this call comes at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I need y'all's help. And I'm telling you, I need your help. I want to see if you see what I see. I get a phone call at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's a male who's telling me that, and again, and it's the phone call is from the VA, and it's a male, and he's telling me that the appointment that I had for later on the day of that Monday had been canceled, and Dr. Bola, my doctor, had an opening for that Thursday, 2 days. That Thursday, but this Monday couldn't do it because she had gotten sick, according to this fella. And so I told him that I couldn't do Thursday because Thursday I knew I was going to be in Washington, D.C. With the Emmett family at the invitation of the Emmett family, some of them, and they had been invited there to Washington, D.C. to be able to watch the movie Teal with the president, with President Biden. And so, no, I was not going to accept an appointment that would conflict with me furthering the work that I had started in Bowling Green and that continued to Washington, D.C. No, I was going to have to have another appointment. And so he said, well, if you can't do it on that day, Dr. Bola does not have any more appointments until May the 4th. May the 4th? Why so far along? Why she booked up like that till May the 4th? He said, you want it or not? I said, yeah, I take it, because, I got an abrasion, a breakout on my leg that for some reason it won't heal. It'll get better, but it won't heal. And I believe that is due to, again, the exposure that I had from Agent Orange when I was in Vietnam. You see how Vietnam is playing a part in all of this, except for the situation. Well, and it played a part in Columbus, because that is the reference that I used to impact the brother, to whereas that he had the aha moment to say, yeah, man, I ain't got no sense protecting this dude who's protecting a white male, a 36-year-old white male that done shot down a 13-year-old child of African descent, a male child of African descent that could be my son. No, I ain't got no business protecting him. And he walked off. And so Vietnam is continuing to play a part in this whole situation. And so I'm concerned because I just don't want to believe that Dr. Bola is booked up like that. So I called back and eventually talked to Dr. Bola's personal scheduler, And she said, well, she had gotten message that I wanted to reschedule this May the 4th appointment, and was wondering why there was not an earlier appointment, but the lady, uh, Marguerite, she says, well, Mr. Ajabu, Dr. Bowler got some appointments before May the 4th. In fact, she's got one February 22nd. Would you like to have that? I say, yes. I go in February 22nd, and I tell Dr. Bowler that I done received a phone call at 5 o'clock in the morning, and she gets energetic as she does. Well, you didn't receive a phone call from 5 o'clock in the morning. I said, yeah, and I think that they're using it to try to send me a message about my political activity, and they're using your office and your name to do so. I would never do that. And you didn't receive it at 5 o'clock in the morning. I said, well, yeah, the mail. We don't even have men that do that. I said, wow. But all of this is confirming my suspicions, which I did not talk about the significance of May 4th, because when I found out that there was appointments before May 4th, and found out that this dude was lying, and even though he's lying, he's got the capabilities to go in and change the database at VA's. I said, well, evidently he's trying to tell me there's some significance to the date May 4th. I look up May 4th, and on May 4th is the date that the government killed 4 students at Kent State because they're protesting the Vietnam War. That's another dot. You understand what I'm saying? I want you to connect the dots. It started in Bowling Green with Emmett Till. It went to Memphis with Tyrell Nichols. It went to Columbus with Sensei Reed. Then I get back to me, and it continues in Indianapolis. It looks like that they done gave me a veiled threat. What's it look like to you? And in understanding the history that I have with Martin, and how they used the symbolism to kill him on the very day that he came out, the very day, a year to the date, on when he came out against the Vietnam War, and they killed him because he came out against the Vietnam War. Are they sending me the same message that will kill you if you keep coming out against the Vietnam War? I'm saying, Lord have mercy, what's it look like to you? It looks like a veiled threat to me, and I don't know why that you would take opposition to me fighting in Vietnam. Because if you, and I'm talking about the government, the people that are in power, if you had not made the decision to fight in Vietnam, you wouldn't be experiencing the depreciation in your stature in world affairs, because you got defeated in Vietnam. The Vietnamese taught the world that if you fight America, you can whip America, because America had not been defeated up until that point, until they got to Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh made them say, "Uncle." And so if you hadn't gone in there, you still had your bluff in. People would think you the most powerful nation on the earth, and that they can't whip you, and that you could get what you want, and you didn't have to fight for it. If you hadn't gone, you should be protesting with me, because it's changed the whole fabric of America to now America is actually imploding on itself. You got American news people and that are looking at the culture in America right now, and they talk about civil war. And I'm saying that it can all be traced back to Vietnam. In trying to kill me so that your history is not understood, it's not going to help it. I would say that America needs to really look at itself and change the way that it operates to where it's always not got to harm somebody in order to get along with somebody. Somebody's got to accept harm, and you got to let me harm you. If you let me harm you, then I can get along with you. That's the policy of America right now, and it needs to change. Try a little tenderness. I mean, we sitting on the dock of the bay. Try a little tenderness. Put that vinegar up. Try a little honey. You know, especially with me, even though I dislike fighting in Vietnam, I earned some benefits. And one of them is that you would compensate me for all of this medical debacle that I'm experiencing because of my exposure to Vietnam. When you're over there trying to kill all the weeds, you know, so that the Viet Cong didn't have a place to hide, and you knew that those chemicals not only kill weeds, it killed people too, and now I'm dying. Actually suffering from that exposure, and you want to hold my benefits from it. That's not helping me to not speak out against the Vietnam War. I would say try a little tenderness, and then if you mess around and kill me like we're being killed, but kill me for the reason that for what I'm saying, you make me my death a political death and put me in the status of martyr, which would seem my death would be like you killed Martin and like you killed Malcolm. Man, you want to elevate me to that state? I'd say now I'd much rather live, to be perfectly honest. But if you're going to take my death, and my death puts me into that kind of company, boy, that's a good life lived. And you want to threaten my life? I plead the blood. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Allahu Akbar. You were ready? You were ready? You were ready? You were ready? If you want to hear me, you can. Every Saturday, 91.9 FM, The Wit. And that's Eastern Time. Every Saturday, 1 p.m., 91.9 FM, The Wit. You can also listen to me streaming live at www.919witt.org. www.919witt.org. Streaming live. You can also hear me on YouTube, Unbossed, and Unafraid. Allahu Akbar! You were ready? You were ready?